Check, check, check. Testing, check. 1, 2. Check, check, check. Testing, check. 1, 2. Check, check, check. Testing, check. 1, 2.
Check, check. Testing, check. 1, 2.
Okay. Yo, what's good? What's good, homie? What's good? We are here. Live. We're back. 1 second. Oops. All right, bet. We're back. We're here. We're live. Ready to dive into tonight's NBA, excuse me. As yesterday's stream, we technically went 1 and several, right? The only slip that cashed was the Portland Trailblazers under that I talked about, analyzed per the game, and shared on the Discord, shared over with the crew. Join us here. Let me plop this here. Join us over at Top Sports Debate, WAP.com. That's where we are located. We're over on Discord too, but we're mostly over here. But we are here. Where's the link? There we go. Click that link. Join us. WAP.com. This is where I be doing community parlays over here almost every single day for the NBA. Yesterday's community parlay went 1 and 2. Almost went 2 and 1. Almost did. McBride, we had him down for 15.5 PRAs if I remember correctly, and he finished with 15. Hooked us by the 15. It is what it is. What can you do? But the hope is that tonight we can cash on some stuff. Here specifically, these are some of my picks. I have 2 main picks. I have the first main pick is for the Pacers to go under the team total points, 118. I have the Timberwolves Mavericks game to go under 232 tonight. It actually dipped down to 228, maybe 227 more recently. Added picks. Take a Bazula for his rebounds at 6 at plus money, but I'm going to talk about why I'm taking for 10 in a second. This specific spot here, taking all these team total points under because the data just looks really well for that. I'll explain why I'm doing that in a little bit. And like I said, I'm taking Bazula for his 10 rebounds. Now, I got this super early at like 5 in the morning, right, or whatever time that I put it in, at plus 1,400 for him to get 10 rebounds. There's a reason for that. I threw $5 down. As you see here on Outlier, this is just a screenshot. In the more recent games against the Pacers, more recently, he had back-to-back 10 rebounds. He's technically in the last 10 games, roughly averaging around 6-ish rebounds. So I took him for, like I said, for the 6 tonight at plus money. So we'll see what happens. So that's that. And I just put this one together. Took his teammate, Kevin, to get 13 PRAs, quickly to get 10 RAs, rebound assists, and then I took Andrew Wiggins to get 20 PRs, points and rebounds. Let's hope for the best with that. And also, that's it. That's all. So let's dive into these games. Let's hope for the best for tonight. Hope, again, as always, hope you, your family, friends, and loved ones are having a very, very safe, warm, and humbling Wednesday today. First up, like I said, I've taken the Pacers under their team total points, mainly because they've been going under a good bunch in the last 10 games. As you see here, they're on a 5-game stretch of going under. Now, it actually dipped down 1, It's changed from a 118 to a 117. The books still believe that they're going to go under. But again, per the original look that I got, it was, what was it again? What was that original value? It was minus 105 for them to get it, so I got the better value hours and hours ago. But as you see here, last 10 games are going under. They're 8-2 to the under, 5 straight going under, just barely missing the 118, right? But the Bulls have allowed 120 in general. Excuse me. They are still not at 100% though, as far as the roster is concerned. Mathurin is back, but he's coming off the bench on minutes restrictions. The Bulls are still down though, somewhat, right? Jones is going to be out. Collins is still out. Giddey is back. Looks like I think it's his 3rd game back maybe now. So we'll see what happens with him tonight. But again, I took Bazula for 6 rebounds. All right. Let's see where it's at now. Now it's a plus 115. So now that the change is down, it's dipped down. I got the better value, plus 132. Now there's a possible chance for him to get the 6, just at a lower spot here. But again, the books currently believe that he's not going to get the 6, but we'll see. Head to head, he's had, like I said, back-to-back games on the season, getting 6 or more, technically 10 or more rebounds. And I feel like he can get 10 again tonight. Down here, this is what they've done in the last several games against small forwards. So per the actual original look at the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 50% of the small forwards have gotten the 10, have gotten the 6, and only 1 has gotten the 10, and that is Jaylen Brown in these last 10 games. So hopefully, but if you want to break it down a little bit extra, there's another one down here. Ingram, he grabbed 6 a little bit, but he finished with 7. So we'll see. But per the position, they allow 7 to the position. So if he gets the 6, I'll take it. But I would love for him to get that 10. Make it 3 straight games against the Pacers to grabbing them boards. And if you want to even look at, say, let's look at the away games. He's gotten 6 3 straight times on the road. But as you see, he's 4 and 6 in total in the last 10. He has not gotten 6 in that spot, in this spot here. On the season though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's 43% to the 6, right? So do with this what you will. If you feel like dropping him down to 4 and parlaying him, I would say do it. He's at least getting closer to 4. You know what I mean? But I personally feel like he should be able to get the 6 tonight. But again, once again, I'm hoping that he gets 10 tonight. We'll see what happens with that. But like I said, I did that. So let's dive into the actual spreads and the totals. Let's look at this. Again, as always, I'm using Moneyballer because this can hopefully be beneficial information for yourself, for myself, to see if we can find any other spots that we can take. When it's pertaining to the spreads here, let's see what it says for here we go. There we go. Sorry, that was the wrong game. This is what it says for both teams. So the Pacers, when it's pertaining to covering the spread, they're 23 and 24 on the season, but they're at home covering at a positive rate, 14 and 10 in the last 24 home games. But they're even as dogs at 20 and 20. But as home dogs, though, in the last 18 games, they're 11 and 7. So positive spot for them when it's pertaining to the spread. The Bulls are roughly around the same to the Pacers, but a little bit different. They're 23 and 22 and 2 to covering spreads on the year. But on the road, they're 9 and 11 and 1 to covering. So they're down, right? And then as favorites, this is where it gets even more interesting, where I feel like this could favor the Pacers more. Again, it's a plus 1.5 for the Pacers to cover, but currently the books believe that the Bulls are going to. But the Bulls are 5, 14, and 2 as favorites to covering the spread. And on the road as favorites in the last 7 games, they are 0, 6, and 1 to covering the spread on the road as favorites. Do you consider taking the Pacers for this plus 1.5 at home? They are, again, they're sort of kind of like, sort of kind of healthy. They play really good defense. They still guard the three-point position really, really well, right? Do you consider taking them against a Bulls team that is, 1, they're injured, right? And then 2, Giddey's trying to come back into as far as the team. Do you consider still taking the Bulls to cover this minus 1.5 full game spread? you have to consider the information that are put in front of you. The Bulls have yet to cover on the road as favorites. The Pacers as home underdogs are 11-7, to covering in the last 18 games. The spread currently is favoring them by a nice, comfortable margin. I would say possibly take them on the spread. But let's look at the actual matchup in these last few games that they've played against each other. They played against each other 5 times at Indiana. This is what the data says here. So Pacers, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they are actually 4-1 against the Bulls at home in the last 5 games. Funny enough, the only game that they lost to them was the very first game in this 5-game matchup, and that was on October 30th of 2023. They lost 112 to 105, right? So they didn't cover up 1.5. So, but the Pacers then, a few months later, in March of 2024, on the 13th, they won 129 to 1. I apologize. I read that wrong. So the Bulls actually won back-to-back games. I apologize. So they're actually 3-2. So the Bulls won 132 to 129. I read the wrong. I apologize. So the Bulls won 132 to 129. So they did cover 1.5. So they're 1-1 currently, right? But after that, the Pacers won the next 3. On January 8th of 2025, the Pacers won 129 to 113, so they covered a 1.5. And then on March 2nd of 2025, they won 127 to 112. They covered the 1.5 there. And then specifically this year at home, the Pacers won the game on November the 29th of 2025, 103 to 101, very low scoring game. And they covered the 1.5. So 3 straight games they've covered. 2 of those games, technically 3 of those games, they hit above 120. They scored 129, 129, and 127. But the other 2, they scored 103 and 105. But again, the most recent one was from earlier this year that they won and covered the 1.5, 103 to 101. Do you consider taking the under? 3 of these games went over, I want to say, right? Let me look at the spot. So it's 235.5. So actually, no, 2 of the games. So 2 of the games went over. Technically, no, 3. So the January 8th, the March 2nd, and then November 29th. I apologize, I read it wrong. So, but it was 3 of the games. March 13th, January 1st, January 8th, and then March 2nd. 3 of those games went over. The other 2 went under, but it was on the outside. So the most recent one in the very first game. Do you take this to go over the 236? Who knows? The hope is that the Pacers don't hit 118 tonight for my specific pick. Maybe the Pacers do win, right? Because, again, they won 3 straight currently at home against the Bulls. More importantly, it was last year and this year compared to the year prior. I would say go with your gut on this pick. Pacers have won 3 straight. Go with your gut on this pick. We'll see. But, again, the spread, though, the spread is pinpointing more towards the Pacers because they've covered 4 of the 5. So, yeah, you may want to consider taking the Pacers tonight. I might take the Pacers on the spread, full game spread, because they just might cover this 1.5, plus 1.5. We'll see. I'm going to try to be a bit more quicker tonight. Wrong game. We are on the Lakers and Cavs here. So, I had considered fading or doing something with the total. I wasn't really sure. Murrow is back tonight. It's him and Tyson. The one thing I can say about Murrow and Tyson is that their rebounds and assists, I think it kind of coincides. I think it kind of goes hand in hand. They actually play, I want to say they play a little bit better when it's pertaining to their rebounds and assists when they're both on the court, right? As far as I can remember off of the past few games. So let's look at it real quick, even though we're going to dive into the actual spot. So This is what Merle has done in the last 10 games when it's pertaining to their rebounds, when it's pertaining to his rebounds and assists. Now let's look at Tyson and his rebounds and assists. Let's see. Where are you? Rebounds and assists. Where are you? Oh, right here in front of me. So he's actually been doing his job. But again, like I said, I kind of feel like they've been like sort of kind of coinciding with each other. So let's look at this here. With Merle on the court, what is he doing with him on the court? He's still getting it. It's just a little bit down. It's still 7-3 with Merle on the court, right? And let's look at them at home with Merle on the court with him. 50% though, right? But when he gets it, he's like 8 and higher. You need 6 for him to get the interesting. So they actually got him what? What is the real actual? They actually believe he's getting 10. So now it's a little bit more interesting. All right, bet. So they believe he's going to get the 10. So let's reset this. Let's see, what does he look like when they have him at 10, the actual number. I wasn't paying attention to the line. But this is what it actually really looks like now. So this is why I don't like when Outlier does it. They just put that small line down, and it makes you think that they're actually doing really well. But he's actually 40% in the last 10, but he's technically 80% in the last 5, 4-1. So now let's look at it with Merle on the court next to him. Let's see. Now he's under. Still producing, right? He's still at least getting 6, because he's averaging 6. So the question becomes, could he get 9? If you want to fade him with Merle on the court, you can. Let's look at Merle, same spot. This is what he's doing. In the last 5, he's 4-1 to getting 6. Excuse me, to going under. And now let's look at this with Tyson, because I swear there was like a couple of games where they actually were doing well together on the court. But let's see, where are you at, sir? Where's Tyson? Here we go. Tyson, with him on the court, he's still going under. And let's look at him at home. Still going under. So maybe you fade either one, right, to getting the 6, maybe. Let me look at Tyson. What do they have him at again? It's 9 for him to go under. Again, maybe you do. Now he's been producing, but again, Merle wasn't on the court. Darius is out there. Darius is out. So you would think that one of them are going to get something, possibly. But let's look at to see what they give. So against the shooting guard, they allow 13, right? And against the small forward, they're allowing 11. So it's literally whatever you feel both of them or either one of them can do tonight. If you still feel like you could fade both of them with them on the court together without Garland, and they both cash for you, take them on single bets, I would parlay it probably even, just to see if they both will go under on a parlay. But we'll see what happens. But this is what it says per the actual spread. It's 3.5. I think it was 2.5 earlier in the day, and then the total is 235.5. So Cavaliers and the Lakers here. Pertaining to the spread, the Cavs have not been covering well at all. They're in the last 48 games, they're 18-30 to covering on the season. In the last 27 games at home, they're 8-19 to covering. In the last 38 games as favorites, they're 13-25. So they just not have been they have not been covering. And in the last 25 games at home as favorites, they're only 8-17. Do with this information what you will for the Cavs. When it's pertaining to the Lakers, they're a little bit above 500, 23-20 and 2 to covering on the season. In the last 25 games on the road, they're 14-11. And then as dogs in the last 18 games, they are 8-10. But as away dogs in the last 12 road games, they are 6-6 at an even spot. So again, do with this information what you will. It just depends. I did not place a bet for the spread at all. I didn't really place a bet for the game itself because I really don't know what's going to happen in this game tonight. Maybe the Cavs win. They've covered 4 of the last 5. Lakers have technically done the same 4 of the last 5, but they've done back-to-back. They did not cover in between the 5 here. They didn't cover against the Clippers at technically next door, right? Or in the same stadium. But it's just like, I really don't know who or what's going to happen tonight. Let me look at the lineup here. Luka's in, LeBron's in, Smart's there. LaRavia, you really don't know what you're getting with him. You really don't know what you're getting with Dominatrix, right? With Ayton. Sometimes he wants to get a double-double. Sometimes he wants to score. You don't really know. Allen, he's been going under his PRA, if I remember correctly. Let me just double check here. Yeah, he's been going under his rebounds. He's been going under his stuff. So if you want to still possibly fade him, even though the books believe he's going to go over, that's why. Because but this was last year, though. Maybe he decides to roll this over into the new season against the Lakers. This is their first time facing off against each other, I think. So this is what the Lakers have done and given up. At least 3 of the players have actually gotten their 27 or higher per the number where Allen is. Do what you will. If you feel like Allen will possibly still go under because it's this year, take the under, because it's at plus money. It's what is it? Caesars has it at a plus 108. Everything else is minus 120s and stuff like that. So maybe you might take that Caesars plus 108 for Allen to go under. So when it's pertaining to the total, though, this is what it says too. Maybe take the under. Again, maybe. Cavs, when it's pertaining to the over, they're 18 and 20 on the 22 and 26 in the last 48 games. In the last 27 games at home, they're 11 and 16, so they're going under more at home. And as favorites, they are 18 and 20, excuse me. And as home favorites, they are 10 and 15 to the over under. So again, they're going under. Lakers, they're a little bit more on the positive for the over. They're 26 and 19 overall on the season, but on the road they're 11 and 14 to the under. But as dogs, in the last 18 games, there are 12 and 6 to the over under. So a lot of their games that with them being underdogs are actually going over on the total. And as away underdogs, they're 7 and 5 in the last 12 road games as underdogs. So that's why I said I really didn't feel comfortable with really anything with this game. I would have had to look at some player props. Again, I may have possibly found maybe something between Murrow and Tyson, maybe something with that, maybe Allen, maybe fade him on his PRAs, but we don't really know. Maybe he decides to roll over what he did last year against the Lakers. Maybe he does it again tonight in this matchup here. But we are gonna move on from there. Knicks, Raptors, are next. Let's see. The spread is 4.5. The total is 218.5. It is a low spot. Why? Because the Pacers play at a slow pace. Raptors play at a slow pace. So you have 2 slow-paced teams. Really doesn't feel like it's going to clash. Really doesn't feel like, the total could go over. Kind of feel like the under would hit. I mean, the when you look at it, the Knicks, they are 4-1 in the last 5. The Raptors are 3-2 in the last 5. The books currently believe that it's going to go under this 219. But let's look at the data here and see if we can really possibly agree with what Outlier is saying here. So the Raptors, when it's pertaining to the spread, and the Knicks, this is what it says. The Raptors are just above 500. They're 25 and 23 to covering. But at home, they're 9 and 14. So they haven't been covering that much. And as away favorites, they're 12 and 15. Excuse me, as favorites, I apologize. I don't know why I said way favorites. But as favorites, they're 12 and 15. As home favorites, in the last 16 home games, they're 6 and 10. So do you really think that the Knicks could possibly cover this plus 4.5? It's really up to you. But let's look at the Knicks when it's pertaining to the spread. 24 and 23 in the last 47 games. On the road, they are 20 in the last 22 games. They're 7 and 15. So they haven't really covered that on the road themselves either. In the last 6 games as underdogs, they're 2 and 4. And as away underdogs in the last 5 games, they're 1 and 4. So again, do you really consider taking the Raptors? Do you really consider taking the Knicks? Let's look at the lineup, see if there's any specific spots. Brunson, Q-tag. Hart is Q-tag. So Brunson was just Q-tagged an hour ago. This is great, right? So Barrett is back. I think this is his first game back after so long. Let me just double check here. So he played 2 days ago. So this is his, and the day before. So this is his third game back. Now he went under back-to-back games. The books currently believe that he's actually going to go under again. Now these two, they were on the road. He went under against my Oklahoma City Thunder. He went under against the Portland Trailblazers. Let's look at him at home. Let's see. Let's look at him. Let's see. Now he's up. But again, these are games where he was fully back. He was healthy and stuff like that. Do you consider taking him for the 23? Now, I did mention, and I think maybe 3 streams ago, Barrett usually balls. He came back from injury the last time before going out again, and he got his points in his first game back. But in the 2 games more recently that he came back, he's gone under. Might be a possible spot here where you fade him again tonight. Maybe it's a plus 105 for him to go under. He's 3-7 to the under in the last 10. Let's look at the head-to-head. He's actually over. He's 1-0 on the season against them. Do you consider taking Barrett because he's come back? He missed it. He hooked anybody who took him for 15 3 days ago, excuse me. Let's look at it here. You need 15. 1, 2, 3. So 3 got it. 2 others hooked, Oubre and Clay. Dylan got shut down. Dunn, he doesn't score that much. And then Barlow, he doesn't really score that much either. Michael Porter got shut down. Marshall got his. Cooper got his. So it's about a 50-50 spot because some are starters, some are not. If you want to just align with what the starters are doing, then maybe take them for the 15 because you just might get the 15, right? But you would have to bump them up to maybe 16 here because that's where the actual line is, minus 110 currently for the over, because now the books believe he would get the 16 here specifically in the spot. So let's look at it now. With it at 16, he is still balling greatly, and again he is 1-0 at home against the Knicks from last year. Do with this information what you will. I don't think I would take him. I'm waiting for him to pretty much pick it up when it's pertaining to the total. Excuse me. This is what it says. The Raptors they are in the last 48 games, they're 20-28, so a lot of the games are going under. At home, 10-13, a lot of the games are going under. As favorites, 11-16, more to the under. And as home favorites, 6-10, more to the under. The Knicks look a little bit more interesting. They're 24-23 to the over, just one game above. They're even on the road, 11-11. As underdogs, last 6 games, they're 4-2. And then as away underdogs in the last 5 games, they're 3-2. Just a little bit more interesting, right? I would say possibly fade the under, right? Because it just might go under. Now, they had a recent game, the Knicks did, where the under hit. I had the Sacramento Kings. This was from last night. That was one of the picks that failed, per the data, per what the Knicks were doing, per what the Kings were doing against the Knicks. All the data pinpointed for the Kings to hit 106 last night. Knicks played really, really good defense, or whatever else that was going on with the Sacramento Kings, and they couldn't even hit 90 points last night, so they got shut down, and the under hit. The game prior to that against the 76ers on the road, where they're at now in this spot here, the under hit as well, but they won 112-109. I watched most of that Philly game that night from the 24th. The question becomes here with them on the road against the Toronto Raptors, where again both teams are slow placing teams. Does this 219 go under tonight? Personally, I would take it. I would take the under. It's a minus 120. Let's see if it's any better per line, per leg. It's actually minus 110 on BetMGM. Let's just say screw it. Let's put this in. I'm gonna put this in right now. This is on BetMGM. I'm just gonna do this, dog. So I kind of feel like this could go under. Because again, the Knicks do what they do, the Raptors do what they do. You know what I mean? They even looking at the Knicks in the last 5 games, look at this. 97, 99, 112, 103. They one spot where they hit 120. The Raptors, all games were on the road. They did hit 110 or higher 3 times. And they hit above 120 2 times. But their teams that they played against, one team had 110, the other one 109, 98, and 101. Knicks, their specific opponents, 87, 109, 66, 114. So one team went above, 2 teams went above 110. None of them hit 115. So that's why I say I feel like this game could definitely go under. The only thing is I probably more than likely missed out on the opening line. Yeah, I missed out at 225. That is a crucial number and a crucial spot for this to potentially possibly go the other way, because you just never know. It went from 225 to 218, right? But I still do more than likely feel confident that this will go under. See, currently even on BetMGM, the book currently believes that the over is going to hit, but I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to take this under. Let's see what happens, Captain. Nice. Give me 1 second. Let's put this in. Gonna plop this right here. Let's get it. Let's see what happens tonight. And this is the Knicks Raptors. Total under. Bang. It's right here. Here it is. BetMGM minus 115 for to go under. Let's see what happens tonight. I'm just gonna plop this in the other disc, in the main disc. That's why I'm like, dag, if I looked at this yesterday, I would have gladly taken this under prior. What the heck is that? I don't know if I want to, because I'm a mod in another Discord. And when I see strange things, I'm like, who are you? Should I fade you? I mean, should I fade you? Should I ban you? I don't know what. That's a random, because I've never seen something like that. So that's a random. It's a random comment by somebody. But we'll see. All right, bet. Now, moving on. Like I said, I'm going to take that. I feel like we're flowing a bit better than we have been. Magic, Heat. So I faded the Orlando Magic on their team total points last night, the night before they played last night, 2 nights ago. Faded them. Cash, right? They went under. The question becomes, with them against the Miami Heat, who will not have Davion Mitchell, who will not have Tyler Hero. Franz Wagner is not in. Franz isn't in. And that's about it. Everybody else is going to be in. The question becomes, what's going to happen in this game? Now, I have Desmond Bain on the community parlay here with Top Sports Debate, the crew over here. This is the community parlay for the WAP over on WAP. Got Desmond Bain for 3 threes. Kongu for 2 threes. Kongu for 2 threes. And then Dante DiVincenzo for 3 threes. Threw $5 on there. Plus with the 25% boost that DraftKings gave me to get back 24 and some change. Let's hope for the best for that slip, right? But with that, let's dive into this game here. There's rest advantage for the Heat. Miami has struggled in the last 5 per the actual total over, but we'll dive into. Let's see what we can find here, if we can find anything. Heat, though, currently, as far as covering just in general, now they're technically 4-6 in the last 10 games. 4 straight they haven't covered. Miami have covered 3 of the last 5, but they're also 4-6 in the last 10. And then what Moneyballer says here, the Heat are 27-20-1 to covering on the season. At home, they are 13-9 to covering. As favorites, 12-10 to covering, and as home favorites, just above 500, covering at an 8-7 spot here. So already, it's looking like the Miami Heat have the advantage, right? Currently, we know what Orlando's bringing to the table, but let's look at what they're doing as far as the spread is concerned. They are 17-28, right? And away, they're 7-14 on the road. They're 5-7 as underdogs. And then as away dogs, they are 3-5. So again, per the data, it's more leaning towards Miami Heat to cover this 4 points tonight. Do you take them because they've covered 3 of the last 5? Do you not take the spread at all because you don't trust it, because you don't know what's really going to happen? Again, Powell's out there. They got what possibly is going to be this kid here, I guess a rookie. He's going to be the starting point guard. What's really going to happen? I have Wiggins down on that parlay. Remember that for him to get 20 points and rebounds tonight. Hopefully he handles the job tonight facing off against Banchero, who could still possibly potentially get his PRAs tonight. Let's look at him currently, because he did have 51 in the last game. He's 5-5 in the last 10, but he's technically 2-3 in the last 5. Head-to-head wise, he's gone under. He's technically 2-0, 3-0 on the season to the under against Miami. So Miami has his number to stopping him from getting these rebounds, these assists, these points, right? Let's look at him on the road. What is he doing on the road? He's over. This is a positive spot for him. He has back-to-back games at 50 or higher, right? Anytime he does get it, it's 40 or higher. So he's going well above. So if you feel like Banchero could possibly just like finally wake up against Miami tonight, take him for the 40 at a plus 124, because he's getting it. Technically, he's getting even above the 40, like 43 or higher. What is it for him to get 43? It is a plus 168 for him to get the 43. So I would say maybe take him on a single bet for the 40, right? Maybe take him at the spot for the 38, because again, he just might get the 38 tonight. Might finally get it against Miami. But Miami, currently, they've shut down everybody from getting it in these last 5 matchups against bigs. So do with that information what you will. When it's pertaining to the total, it's 231.5. Miami has gone over 8 out of the last 10 games, 4-1 in the last 5. They went under in a more recent game against the Suns. But this is what it says for both teams. The Heat are even 24-24 in the last 48 games. In the last 22 games at home, they are 11-11. As favorites, they are 9-13. So now you're seeing as favorites, they're going under the total. And as home favorites, they're also going under at 6-9 with that record. Magic, Orlando, are 22-23, almost pretty much below the spot here to the under. 10-11 on the road, but they're 7-5 to the over as underdogs, right? But they're even in the last 8 games on the road as underdogs, 4-4, even. So do with this information what you will. Who knows what's really going to happen tonight? Per what you see with what Orlando does, per what you see with Miami, who's still a fast-paced team, do you consider possibly still taking this over? Let's look at it. Let's see what they do head-to-head, though. They are 3-4 in the last 7 matchups. Technically, in the last 5, though, they are 2-3 in the last 5 matchups. More recently, and a back-to-back meeting where in both games they went under. So that, well, excuse me, I apologize. They're 1-2 on the season, but still back-to-back meetings they went under. So do you take this to go under tonight? All 3 games were at Orlando. This is their first matchup in Miami. When they played in Miami 2 times last year, they went 1-1. The first game, though, the first matchup at Miami, they went under. So maybe this spot happens again tonight where they still go under the 232 tonight because it's the first matchup at Miami. Maybe. Or maybe it switches and they decide to go over. We'll see. Me, I really don't know. Honestly, I really don't know if I want to take the over or take the under. I really don't know. Because, again, you could technically possibly still fade Orlando's team total points. Let's look at this here and see if there's any information on here. They are 7-3 in the last 10 to going under, 4-1 to the under in the last 5, 4 straight games. But in their matchup, they are hitting at a 29% hit rate to the under, while the over against them, they're hitting at a 71% to the over. On the year, they are 2-1 to the over, technically 1-2 to the under if you decided to fade the Magic here specifically. But again, this is the beginning of the year. This is last month. Totally different spot here. But let's look at Miami, and more importantly, let's look at them at home when they're trying to guard their home court from teams from scoring above their team total points. So if you're looking to again fade Orlando, the 115, right? This is what Miami does at home. So they went. If you're taking the under, 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, 1-6. So 7 of the in the last 7 Miami Heat home spots, 6 of the teams went above their team total points. Do you take the chance on Orlando scoring 115 tonight for the over, even though the books believe they're going to go under and they just really haven't done anything offensive wise? It is really up to you. I would possibly fade Orlando one more time because, again, they've hit under 100 twice. They did come close to the 115 here, but this was on the 18th. This was several days ago. This was on the road, though. Let's look at them on the road and let's see what they're doing. They're doing under on the road still. So I would say more than likely fade them again because this is 8 straight games that they've gone under. Only 3 games they came close to the 115, and this was right here, the end of December and the beginning of January. So it's up to y'all, man. Really, be honest. I would say take the under for the team total points again. Just being honest, and let's hope for the best. But again, Miami just has not been playing well, just being honest, as far as their home spot and guarding and stopping a team from scoring specific points. So do with that information what you will. Boston, where are y'all? There we go. Hawks, Boston. Let's see. Hawks and Celtics. Spread is 5.5. The over is 232.5. 232.5. Right. Boston is favorite. They're back at home. They really haven't covered too much of a 6-point spot here, but Atlanta has, at least for the plus 5.5, 4 straight games to covering. We can even look and see what they're doing in the head-to-head matchup. They're 2-2 in the last 4 meetings, and they are 1-0. 0-1 though on the season. They did play against each other on the 17th, and they lost big, 132 to 106. So they couldn't cover a plus 5.5 or the actual spread, which is 3.5. So let's see. Let's see what it says. This is still harbinging for Boston to possibly cover tonight, but we'll see. I apologize. I'm in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta. We'll see. Celtics are 25-21 to covering. At home, they are 10-11, so they're just below 500. Even as favorites, 16-16. At home as favorites, 7-9 to covering. The Hawks are even 24-24. On the road, though, they're 15-11 to covering. As underdogs, they're actually 16-10 to covering the spread. And as away dogs, they're 9-6 to covering the spread. So currently, looks like the Hawks have a spot where they could possibly cover this plus 5.5 tonight. Again, they've covered 4 straight of the last 5. When it's pertaining to the total, it's 232.5. This is what it says. It seems to be more of a lean towards the under, but we'll see. Possibly, we will see. The Celtics are 19-27 to the over-under in overall. At home, they're 9-12 to the over-under, 13-19 as favorites, and then 7-9 as home favorites. So again, the under is hitting for the Celtics specifically, even at home. Hawks, this is what it says. More leaning towards the over, but just a slight lean. 25-23 to the over-under, 15-11 on the road, 14-12 as underdogs, 8-7 as away dogs, and that's just that information. So do you take the total 232.5? Let's look at the actual matchup. They've played against each other 5 times at Boston. This is the information that it says, right? It's 232. So the actual over hit in these 5 games 4 times. What it looks like here. Let's see. Actually, excuse me, 3 times. Let's see what happens here. So the Celtics lost on April 25th, 2022, 119 and 117. So the Hawks covered the plus 5.5. On November 26th of 2023, the Celtics won 113 and 103. So the Celtics covered that one. So they're 1-1. On February 7th of 2024, the Celtics won 125 to 117. They covered there. So they're 2-1 against the 5.5. And then last year on November 12th of 2024, the Hawks won 117 to 116. The Hawks covered the plus 5.5 there. So they went at even 2-2. And then on January 18th of 2025, last year, the Hawks won 119 to 115. Again, the total went over. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. So it did. 4 games went over the 232. So the question becomes, does this happen again in this matchup here against, between both teams with the information that I put in front of you? Again, the under's been hitting more for the Celtics, more specifically at home. The over's been hitting a little bit more when it's pertaining to the Hawks on the road. Maybe you still take the Hawks to cover the plus 5.5 because they've actually covered 1, 2, 3 games out of the 5, right? 2 of the most recent ones, and then the very first one back in 2023. Do you take the Hawks to cover this? Do you take the total because the total has gone over 4 of the last 5? Maybe we do take the total. Maybe we do. Again, it's a maybe. Again, 3 straight to the over, right? In their recent matchups. 2 of those games were at the Celtics where they went over. Maybe we do. Maybe we do take the 232. 233, excuse me. Maybe. Lineup wise, everybody is pretty much healthy except for Porzingis. He's out. Reese is out. Celtics, the other ones out again are now Quetta's out officially now. 6 hours ago. I didn't know he was questionable. So Howard is going to be starting and Williams is going to be starting. Maybe. Let me see. Let's look at this here. Let's see. So Celtics cover a first half, right? They win first half some more. Maybe we take, let me see. What was that? Let's see. They got Celtics covering a -3.5 first half spread. Maybe we take, but there's EV to the Hawks covering. Now Boston are 3-2. Atlanta's 2-3. Let's look at them on the road, maybe. Let's see. We don't have that information, but we can do it. We can break it down here. Hawks on the road in the last 10, covering the first half spread, 3-1, 4-1. So they're 4-1 to cover in the last 5 road games. Boston at home, they are 3-0. So they're 4-0. So it's kind of tough to really find something. Let's look at the first half spread. First half total. So we can't really find anything for that. Let's see what the first half total has to offer. Maybe we take the total over. Let's see. It's 120. Let's see. So Hawks are 50%, but Boston are actually under 20% only. They are 0-1, 0-2. So 1-3 to the under more than the over, while the Hawks are 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 to the under. So maybe it's more of a lean to the under. Maybe. Do we fade this 120? Really can't really find a specific spot. It's either you take Atlanta on the +5.5 because they've covered what is it? 2, 3. They've covered 3 of the last 5, right? But the total has hit 4 out of the last 5 to the over. Maybe you take the total over. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just go on ahead and take the total over, even though Boston goes under at home. Maybe we take the total over because, again, 4 matchups, 4 of the last 5, they've gone over. They hit 234, 233, 242, and 236. The only one under, and that was on November 26th of 2023. So, again, I could just kind of feel like the total might just hit because, again, it's 3 straight games. 2 of them were at Boston. They went over. It's 233. And they've hit it. They even hit a 233 here on the 12th of 2024 last year in November. Last season, excuse me, not last year, last season. Maybe. What's the pacing look like? See, Boston's first in pacing, slowing the pace down. I don't know. I'll make a final decision. I might just take that total over. We'll see. We will see. Now, Charlotte versus my Memphis Grizzlies. Charlotte still balls. They ball out on the road. They really, really ball out on the road. And clear some stuff. Okay. Let's see. The spread is still 1.5. I don't think this changed at all throughout the entire day. I don't think. But look at Charlotte. They are 60%, 6-4, while my Memphis Grizzlies are 4-6. We are 1-4 in the last 5, while the Hornets are 4-1. So it's a swap. The Bulls currently believe that we're going to cover. Interesting stuff, right? Lineup wise, pretty much everybody's in. LaMelo should be starting. I don't think he's going to be coming off the bench or anything like that tonight. My Grizzlies, Morant is not playing. Ja's not in. Edie's not in. And I mean, players are out. So, because I was talking about this during the WAP live stream for the community parlay, I was thinking about saying like, hey, like maybe you take Santi Aldama to get the but he went under against them specifically. But you're looking for 24, 1, 2, 3 got it. But they shut down everybody else. But a lot of these players are not starters, though. That's the thing. A lot of them are not. So most of them are not. So there's that information. Maybe Salty even gets 14 points tonight. Maybe you take him for the 14. But again, you look down here. 1, 2, 3 got it. Again, the rest of the players really aren't starters, though. That's the only thing. So there's not too much data that you can really roll with. On the season, he averages 14. Maybe you still take him for the 14, though. Maybe. He's averaging 13 in the last 10, but he's averaging 15 in the last 5. So let's look at him specifically at home, though. He's 3-2 in the last 5 home games, averaging just shy of 13, and then averaging 16 in the last 10. So 6-4. So do with that information what you will. Let's look at the spread. Let's look at the actual total and the stuff like that. Let's see. So my Grizzlies are 19-25-1 to covering, 9-4 to covering the spread, 9-16-1 to covering as underdogs, and then 3-7 as home dogs. So my Grizzlies just not have been covering more recently. So there's that. And then the Hornets are 27-19-1 to covering, 15-10 to covering on the road. But they're even 5-5 as favorites. And then they're also even in the last 4 more recent away games at 2-2 as favorites. So there's that information. I still feel like the Hornets can still cover, though, because they've been covering more, even more so. They were even more covering just in general on the season. So on the road. While when it's pertaining to this total, it's 231. My Grizzlies are 19-26, so the under's been hitting more. 11-12, we are at home, but as underdogs, we're 10-16. And then in the last 10 games at home as underdogs, we are 4-6, right? Hornets are 19-28 to the over-under, so the under's been hitting as well. They're 11-14 on the road, and they're even 5-5, just like they are with the spread. Even 5-5 as favorites, and they're even 2-2 on the road as favorites to the over-under. But let's look at this actual spread spot one more time. In the last 14 games, my Grizzlies are 4-9-1 against the spread. So we haven't really covered again. We're in the last 8 games on the road. In the last 14 games, more specifically 2-6. And as underdogs, in the last 14 games, technically in the last 5 games as underdogs, we are 4-1. And then as home dogs, we are 2-2. Again, this is all in the last 14 games. Hornets, though, this is what it says. They are, in the last 14 games, 9-5. In the last 9 games on the road, in these 14 games, they're 7-2. And in the last 5 games as favorites, again, coincided with the 14, they're 3-2. And then in the last 2 away games as favorites, 2-0. I personally feel like Hornets can still cover against us, possibly more than likely beat us tonight. We will see, though, because, again, my Memphis Grizzlies just might be able to pull a win out tonight. If you decide to take Memphis on the money line, plus 110 is plus value, maybe possibly take it. Maybe take them for the first half spread. Maybe take them for the full game spread. But, again, the books believe currently that we're going to cover. I don't know what they really see because, again, maybe it's because of Aldama is back. Maybe because of maybe, Jackson, you know what I'm saying? It's just that our bench is down. So I'm kind of questioning what the books see to see why they believe that Memphis will cover this plus 1.5. We'll see. My Grizzlies, we did our thing overseas and we come back and we're still not really doing too hot in the last 5 games. I just kind of personally believe that the Hornets will cover. I feel like I need to take the Hornets tonight, just being honest. Now, moving on to the Timberwolves and Mavericks game. As of right now, Edwards has officially been marked in. Cooper Flag is the only one. I think he's the only one. Oh, okay. So Clay's still QTAC. I saw this earlier. So they're both still questionable. We'll see. We shall see. Mavericks. I think we're going to do one more after this, and then I'm going to bounce. Bounce. Sorry. Clear this massage. All right. So, spread is 7.5 for this game. Total is 229.5. Do with this information what you will. Dallas plays better at home. That's the one thing to note. As you see, they've been covering even just the plus 10 and the plus 7.5. They are in the last 10 games 6 and 4. 5 and 5 in the last 10 ATS. But again, they are 8 and 2 to covering, and then 5 and 0 in the last 5 to covering the plus 7.5. So they've been covering, more importantly, at home and then at home. 2 in the last 10, 2, 4, 4 and 1, 5 and 1, 5 and 1 in the last 6 home games they've covered. Memphis on the road. Look at this ATS. They haven't really been covering. They haven't covered the actual minus 7.5. But on the road, they're 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 1-3, 1-4 in the last 5 road games. They have not covered a minus 7.5. Head-to-head, though, Dallas are 4-1, but they didn't cover on the 17th way back. But that was at Minnesota. They are technically 2-0 against Memphis in the last 2 meetings at Dallas. So do with this information what you will. But let's look at the actual data here to see if you should decide to possibly take the Mavericks to cover. I'm kind of leaning towards the Mavericks to covering tonight, but we'll see. But again, if Cooper Flag is in, I would say take Dallas to cover the plus 7.5. But we'll see. Dallas are 22 and 24 and 1 ATS wise, but at home they're 15 and 11. And as underdogs, they're 17, 13 and 1 positive. At home as underdogs, 11 and 5. Timberwolves are 20, 28 to covering overall, 10 and 13 on the road, 15 and 23 as favorites, and then they are as away favorites 6 and 10. So automatically off top, I'm automatically saying like, yo, take Dallas to cover the plus 7.5 just based off of this information. But again, if Cooper Flag is in, I would say if Coop gets announced to be in, because the game starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, maybe 8:35. If he's announced to be in, I'm probably gonna take this plus 7.5. I might just take it now, type of thing. That way, it's just locked in. But again, this is Minnesota. They have been playing possibly a little bit better on the road, just a little bit. But Dallas still plays really, really great at home. Let's see. I'm probably gonna put this in before I end the stream. Let's see. When it's pertaining to the over/under, this is what it says. Dallas are 20 and 27, so unders are hitting more. At home, they're 12 and 14, so the unders are hitting a little bit more at home. And they're just below 500 to covering more so to the under, though. 15 and 6 as underdogs, and are even 8 and 8 in the last 16 home games as underdogs to covering over/under. Minnesota are as follows: 21 and 27 overall to covering, but when it's pertaining to them on the road, they're actually 15 and 8 to covering to the over. But as favorites, they're 15 to 23. But it swaps back over to the advantage to the over. As away favorites, they're 10 and 6. So do with this information what you will. Personally, I just feel like I really, really do feel like, though, that the spread is more of a key spot because Dallas is pushing more towards the under, even at home. But even just this little spot here where it says in the last 14 games, more important, in the last 8 home games of these 14 games, the over has hit 5 of the last 8 games, so 5 and 3. And then Minnesota, specifically when it's pertaining to them on the road, though, well, just in general to the over, what does it say here? They are in the last 14 games even 7 and 7, but on the road 6 and 1 to the over. But as favorites 4 and 6, but as away favorites 3 and 0. So maybe this hits the 229. Maybe. Let's look at their actual matchup. They played 4 times at Dallas. The spot is 229. So they only went over 1 time. They literally hit 229, and this was on the nose in this month, but a few games back on January 22nd, where the total was 213 and it hit at 229. Minnesota won 115 to 114. Literally a close spot. Every other game, everybody's hitting low, except for Dallas. Dallas hit 116 on May 26, 2024 in a win against Timberwolves. The game after that, technically two days later, I guess this was a back-to-back spot, May 28th of 2024, Dallas lost 105 to 100. So there's that. The next game up, December 25th of 2024, Minnesota won 105 to 99. So Minnesota has beaten the Mavericks on the road 1, 2, 3. So the last 3 games they played against Dallas, they beaten them 3 straight games, and they're technically 3-1 against Dallas. So do with this information what you will. As far as the spread is concerned, Dallas covered the first game. They covered in the loss. The second game, they covered in the loss. In the third game, and they covered. So they technically covered all 4 games. So they have Minnesota's number. Let me go on ahead and take this plus 7.5 before they possibly announce flag out. Let me just take this now. I'm just going to do this now. It's plus 100. Let me see if it's... so it's plus 100 on either one. I'm going to take this on the Score app. Let's see here. I thought I sent this already. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Let me erase that. Did I not? I did not. I apologize. Hold on, let me make sure this is the right one. I was supposed to send my brother something in our group chat, but almost forgot. There we go. Bang, there we go. All right. Let me take this live here, and I'm going to post it. I'm going to take Dallas now because, again, Dallas actually has Minnesota's number, and they play better at home. I just need Cooper Flag in. As long as he's in, I'll feel more comfortable about this, but hopefully this is not an L. We will see. I mean, shoot, Minnesota could still win with Cooper Flag on the court. That's just sports in general. But let's see here. Let's see. So even. There we go. Oh, it actually changed. It actually shifted to a plus 8.5. I'll take the 8.5. We're going to take it. It literally, as soon as I clicked it, the line, the prop, the line, it shifted. It's no longer plus 7.5. Now it's a 8.5. I'm about to post this now. Which I believe that the books either think even more so that Minnesota's going to cover. But again, it bumped up to here. So again, I got it here, but it was a minus 120. It's not a minus 125. Let me save that because I'm showing y'all that I'm not lying either. So it's a minus 116 on FanDuel. So then what would it be for Minnesota to cover? So currently, the books believe that Dallas is going to cover even more because it dipped down to a plus 8.5. So I'm sharing this now. Here we go, posting this now. Mavericks to cover, bang. Like I said, when I clicked on it and I'm getting ready to put whatever I decided to put on it. Look, it shifted to a plus 8.5 and a minus 120. And the books currently believe that Dallas is going to cover the 8.5. Why? Because it's plus money, a higher plus value for Minnesota to cover. And again, it is now a minus 120, not a minus 125. This is on the bet scoring app. So better value is over on FanDuel, which it might not even be the minus 116. Let me see real quick. Let me see. Going to NBA, it might be a minus 112, minus 110. So it is a minus, so it's a 9 now. So it's a minus 106 now for Dallas to cover a plus 9. So yeah, the books currently believe now that they're going to cover. So again, I literally just posted it with the actual line that I got, minus 120. So we'll see. That's why I said something that's telling me to just take this plus value line here, to just go on ahead and do it, and hope for the best here. We'll see. The last one I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna touch the Warriors, and I'm gonna just talk about this Spurs game real quick. Spurs and Houston. I actually have a parlay, I think, with the. Yeah, I got Spurs not scoring 109 points. I got it at a minus 106. Let's see. Again, that's that parlay from earlier. Let's see if it changed. Let's see if the books still believe that they're going to go under the 108. They still believe they're going to go under, but it's at a minus 110. This is the data. They've been going over more recently, right? Even in the last 5, they're 3-2 to the over. Head to head, though, they're going under against Houston. They've gone under in 3 straight road games against Houston. They've had back-to-back games where they hit 106 and not be able to get the extra bucket. So the hope is that, again, this year, technically this month, literally 8 days ago, they went under at 106, just hitting the mark. But Vassell is back. He's just coming off the bench. You got everything that you got with the squad here. Jeremy is questionable as of yesterday, so he may play. And then Steven Adams, I believe, is officially, he's actually officially done, because that they didn't announce that he was having ankle surgery, so he's officially done, right? Just the way that he went down in that last game that he played, I kind of figured that it was a wrap. So it was just the way that he went down. I was like, damn, like my homie's just donezo, right? So what do you get with this game? It's a 2.5 for the spread. It's 221 for the total. This is what the data says when it's pertaining to the spread in the total. So the Rockets are 21-23 to covering. They're 8-11 at home. As favorites, they're 18-22 to covering, and as home favorites, 8-10. So they're not covering that much specifically at home. While these Spurs is looking more positive for them, 23-22-2 to cover the spread, 13-11 on the road. As underdogs, they're actually 10-6 in the last 16 dog games here. And then in the last 13 games as away dogs, they're actually 8-5. So they've been covering more. Now, granted, when it's pertaining to the 2.5, though, both teams are hitting positive. But San Antonio's hitting a little bit more, 7-3 in the last 10, while Houston's are 6-4 in the last 10. But really, if you even break down the last, say, 6 games, the Rockets are 5-1, while the San Antonio Spurs are 4-2. So do with that information what you will when it's pertaining to the 2.5. The total has been going under for both teams, more specifically in the last several games. They're both 7-3 in the last 10, but San Antonio are 2-3 to the under in the last 5, while the Rockets are actually 3-2 to the under in the last 5. But also, too, the books believe that the total is going to hit to the over, but we'll see. When it's pertaining to the actual over-under for both teams, this is what it says. The Rockets are 20-24 more so to the under, 7-12 at home, more so to the under. As favorites, they're 19-21, still favorites to the under, and then as home favorites, 7-11. The Spurs, same situation, right? 18-29, more to the under, 9-15 on the road to the under, 7-9 to the under as dogs, and then 4-9 as away dogs. That's why I believe that the the total has been low is because more so, I want to say it's more the Rockets more than anything. But let's look at this here. Let's look at the last 5. San Antonio scored above 110 3 times. They went under twice. Houston, they've gone above 110 4 times, but they did go under the last game, right? But they still were playing some sense of defense, just a smidge, right? Just a little bit. 3 of the teams went under 110. One team hit 128. Pelicans hit 110. The San Antonio Spurs, one team two teams went under 110. The other 3 went above 110, but it was still low. So head to head though, they're 3-2, 3-3 to the over under in their matchup. But let's look at them. Let's look at them at Houston though. They're actually 1-2 to the under at Houston. So this year they are at Houston 1-0 to the under, but 1-1 on the season as far as the spot. So, do with that information what you will. Who knows if this will actually go under in the actual matchup. It's 221, right? So they went over 3 times. It was more so from last year and even, like I said, this year at Houston. The last 3 straight games they scored in total. Actually, I apologize. It was 2 games they went over, and 3 games they went under. So in 2024, they went under at only scoring 175. The next game was March 5th of 2024. They went under at 215. Both games again were above 120. The next game was below the 120 at 215.5. It went over. The Rockets scored 127 and 100. The Rockets scored in the next game 118 and 106. That went over 224. And again, in the most recent one, the Rockets won 111 and 106. So when it's pertaining to the spread, 2.5, the Rockets covered 1, 2, 3, 4. All 5 games, the Rockets covered the 2.5. Do they cover tonight? The books currently believe that they will. Do they cover tonight? That's the question. Should you take the Rockets to cover a -2.5 because they are currently undefeated? They're actually 1-0 on the season to covering against them. The Spurs, though, did cover against them on the 7th of November, but they were at San Antonio, so they're 1-1 even to covering. But again, we're talking about at Houston. Houston has their number. When it's pertaining to the spread, when it's pertaining to the money line, do with the information what you will. Personally, I kind of feel like Houston could possibly still cover. There's EV to them covering the -2.5. That's the question at hand. What do you do here? You can maybe contribute saying like, hey, the Spurs had my Thunder number when they played against us, whether at home, whether on the road. They beat us like 3 straight games, which includes the NBA Cup 2. And then we finally got them in the most recent matchup at home where we finally did our thing. So the question becomes with San Antonio, could this be a San Antonio Thunder spot where, because Houston pretty much has San Antonio's number, maybe they, because they're 1-1 on the season, maybe they get this second win tonight finally, but more importantly, they get their first win at Houston since their last 5 matchups at Houston. Maybe that maybe that happens tonight. We'll see. Do you take the total over? Maybe. 2 of the games went over, 3 of the games went under. Do with this information what you will. Me, I would probably think like, well, Houston has their number. Maybe take Houston for the cover, but we'll see. But that's pretty much that. I'm not going to dive into the Jazz Golden State game. Kind of feel like maybe Golden State hits their team total points. Maybe Houston still gets their team total points. What's their team total points currently? Because Markkanen is back, but we're waiting to hear if Nurkic is even going to play. He's been he's been Q-tag. He's been questionable since yesterday with the illness, so he may not play. If he doesn't play, then you would want to possibly take Golden State to cover the 8.5. Maybe you still take the over under. I don't know. Let's look at let's look at Utah's team total points. They have them getting 117. Right? Yeah, they believe they're going to get it. Let's see. Again, this is Utah. So Golden State on the road, 1-1. Oh, wait, excuse me. 1-2. 1-3. 2-3. 2-4. 3-4. So just below 500 to stopping a team from scoring 117 points. That's the best look I can give you all. I don't really know what's going to happen in this game. Maybe it still goes over the total, but I do feel like you need Nurkic out there to really help to push this total over, because he really is like a miniature Yusuf Nurkic out there, passing the ball, grabbing boards, scoring points. So it just depends on what is he going to really do tonight. So that's that. But I'm out tomorrow. I hopefully should be back in the evening, roughly about the same time, 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that, to go over a few of these games. Let's hope for the best for tonight. We'll see what happens. And again, join us over on WAP.com. I'll be probably posting a couple extra parlays and stuff, single bets. And then find me on Discord here at Bet at Your Own Risk. Join my Discord if you like, where you'll be able to get all my main picks in one spot. You want to really search for them. But I'm out. Y'all stay safe, stay humble, and let's hope for the best for tonight. But as always, I hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones stay safe, stay warm, and stay humble. Holla at you later, guys. Peace.